many were left with technology. They were left in places of power. They were told to control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Many of them look like us.
Yeah.
But they're not really us. We are going to be introduced to the demigods. They are going to declare themselves our rulers. They're going to declare themselves our creators. All this stuff. We need to know who they are. And the whole purpose of these events that are coming up between now and July, and I hate giving dates because so many of them don't happen. But you know, everything today is event-based. I don't think they're set on dates.
Mm-hmm.
It's about events that occur. But anyway, that's what he said. So I'm putting it out there. The purpose of empowering us is so that we will not worship these beings.
Okay.
They don't deserve our worship. Okay? We have the same capabilities, the same potentialities as they do. All right?
Yeah.
We just don't believe it because we've been so suppressed with religions and told we're sinners, we're bad, we're this, we're that, we're losers, you know? And then they have us warring and fighting with each other. And then they've created religions so that we would continuously go to war with each other and hate each other. I mean, it's just been amazing.
Yeah.
To be able to step out of this and to see how deep it goes. Well, it's all coming to the surface, and apparently this is the year. This is the year for this all to happen.
So what you're telling to me is that they are going to set up the new world order? I mean...
Yes, Barney said that it would be around for at least 8 months.
Wow.
Okay? It's coming. It is coming.
Does it have to be with the sorry? Does it has a relation with the Iran with the Iran threat that they are trying to spread on the news and that crap?
Apparently, this is all being manipulated.
Okay.
We are being led down a path.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We're being led down a path. And unfortunately, the U.S. is right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Okay? There may be white hats, but they're not running the show yet.
Okay.
Okay? Now, Mornay also said that with the elimination of these 3 levels of global management, that the whole idea here was to bring out and to flush out the good guys so that they knew exactly who they were and where they are.
Yeah.
So that when they implement this world government, they would know who the good guys are. So they need to know that they're totally in weakness. They're feigning it. That's the word he used. They are feigning a weakness. In other words, at some point, at the very highest levels, they are still very, very much in control.
Okay, so what the...
And I wanted to share that with everyone who will even listen to this message.
Okay. So what they are doing is just like a kind of serpent that when it's going to be dead or it's going to be eaten by his predator, it appears that
it's playing dead. It's playing dead.
Yeah.
It's playing dead.
So there, there are a lot of people that are thinking that the world government is just it's just done, that the ETs are all of that beings that are coming to the earth, they are now in control. But you are telling me now that that's not true, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Now that's not to say that the information that's being shared is misleading. I believe that the people talking about this, Fulford and Wilcock, they're absolutely sincere in the information they have. They're absolutely sincere and how deep it goes, and the derivatives, and creating fraudulent bonds in order to take control of the world's wealth. They're sincere about that. They absolutely are. And I want to believe them. I do. I don't want this to play out. I don't want this to go to the next level of oh my God, here's the false prophet, here's the Antichrist, here's these satanic dark spirits coming to earth. I don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
But what Mornay has said is this is going to play itself out, and maybe it has to, so that all these guys, all these troublemakers can be rounded up all at once. Maybe that's what Earth is about. We were bait. We were here. We were like an anything go zone, so that these guys could come in and we would be able to catch them. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but there's a reason why the Patal are here, incarnated as human beings. Maybe we're the bait. I don't know. I suspect that that's true, but there's a much bigger agenda, and it could be that this negativity is going to be captured and rounded up once and for all here, so that it is no longer a menace to our galaxy.
Okay.
That's what I suspect.
Ooh, so there are a lot of things that are going to be happening on this next 5 months, right?
Yeah, well, between now and the end of the year, I guess. But the guys on the broadcast, the interview that I shared with you on YouTube, Steve Quayle and Tom Horn, they're of the perspective that this is going to go to 2016. That's their perspective. I don't know. I hope not.
Oh.
But the point is, we have to gather the information, and then we have to intuitively go within, connect to God ourselves, spirit, okay, and figure out what feels right. We all have to do that.
Yeah.
And again, I want to say to everyone, regardless of your philosophical or religious beliefs, you absolutely have a connection to God yourself. You do. Whatever name you give that, whatever you call it, you have a connection to God yourself. And it is more important than ever to totally correct to that source. Now, it is, you have to. I mean, I have to try to get guidance because, I so don't ever want to walk this path again.
Yeah.
I've taken a lot. It's hurt. I've been really, really hurt and wounded with betrayal this lifetime. Betrayal has been, and loss has been a huge part of my journey this lifetime. And I don't want to do this again. So, having gotten into that and shared the new information, let's talk about the accusations. Back in the day when I worked for the Internal Revenue Service, I was a tax collector, a revenue officer. That's what I was supposed to do, to collect taxes. I shut down businesses. I threw people out of work. It's a very, very tough job because, number one, you're always dealing with a negative, and there's no question you're creating a lot of karma. Okay, it sucked, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And you don't have many friends outside of the service because, who wants to hang out with an IRS agent? Okay? Nobody. And so there was a time where I decided that I wanted to help defend people from IRS.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had a situation back in upstate upstate New York with Internal Revenue. And my dad he's deceased now. He died in '98. He's a really good man. But like all of us, he had his stuff to work on as well. But he was a really good man, and he worked really, really hard. He had a huge family to support, a lot of children, and he was doing the very best he could. And he got into some trouble with IRS, and right off the bat, they treated him like a criminal. And I got really pissed off. So a lot of that had to do with how they treated my dad. So I went to the other side of the table.
Okay.
Now, I want you to be aware of the fact that this was back in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first revenue officer, tax collector, to literally go to the other side of the fence and help represent people in front of IRS collections in Los Angeles. Okay? I was the first one to do it.
Yeah.
And I was a tax collection consultant. And what I did was I went door to door to law firms, CPA firms, tax accounting firms, PA firms to offer consulting how to deal with IRS collections. Because you can't go to school for that. The only guys who know really how to do it are revenue officers, because they're the ones given the training. So what I did was I started doing lectures, teaching law firms, accounting firms, how IRS collections does it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they hated me. IRS, the LA district, the senior management of IRS district in Los Angeles hated me for doing this because I was pulling back the veil. I was showing people, here's how you can defend yourself. Here's how they gather information. Here's how they find it. Here's what a revenue officer's caseload looks like. Here's what he does. Here's how he gets your attention, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they did not like me. So, I was exposing the fear tactics and the mind control that they use. You notice how between February and April 15th, you hear about all these big names getting busted and getting arrested. They do that on purpose to scare the crap out of you.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not going to get into the actual legality of IRS, the tax law, other than to say it was not properly ratified in the House of Representatives. It was not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's for somebody else to deal with. I hit a lot of brick walls, standing up for the underdog. So, to address the current accusations against me, I had many, many clients at the time. At the time that I got into trouble with IRS, I had at least 10 or 11 things going on with clients.
Yeah.
None of them positive, by the way. And I was usually, when I was brought in, it's when all else failed, and they were seizing, or they had seized. They were leveling bank accounts. They were entering 401s. They were taking IRAs, retirement things. Unfortunately, that's just how it worked. I was brought in when basically it was almost too late.
Yeah.
Okay? Many companies that got into trouble, it was because of poor management or just bad decisions, or they were hoping things were going to turn around, they were going to get loans on property, etc. And it took too long, or it just didn't work. I had a client who had a family, great family, and he had just gone through an IRS audit or seizure several months before.
Yeah.
Now, the Internal Revenue Service uses the Internal Revenue Manual, which is very hard to get and very expensive. And most people don't even have any idea how to even read it. But in the Internal Revenue Manual that the IRS uses, they have what is called a 23C date. A 23C date instead, this is back in the 80s,